Hello, this is our Protect You session on hazard location certification for oil and gas infrastructure protection. The agenda of our session is to present the definition of the HAZ location classifications and zone groups. It's important that we understand really the definition that we're presenting to the marketplace. We talk a lot about our applications, how our protection products fit into this market space for oil and gas, energy, transportation, and distribution. We take a close look at our polyfailure and transdector product portfolio. We look at how these products are applied in this market space. And we show the technology and differentiation that we're bringing to the table with our product set. Take a quick look at the competitor snapshot to understand how we are positioned in the market space. And then I give a quick summary of our promotional materials that are part of our overall global launch of our classification certifications. So it's important to understand that we're talking about protection products that are used in an explosive gas, flammable gas environment. So on this slide, we see the lists of substances that would otherwise be hazardous, like these gases that are called Class 1 or group level, or in the IEC ATEX nomenclature, that would be a Group 2, C, B, and A type categories. What this all means is you have a definition for substances that are gases that explode. There are other substances like metal dust that are highly flammable, and things like fibers and flour, even wood shavings. These things are all considered hazardous materials that could otherwise combust. We deal with the gases across these zones and definitions. So when you're in a certain part of the world, they consider it an IEC zone. That's great. When you're in another part of the world, they'll call it Class 1, just to understand that it means the same thing. The second part of it is whether or not there's a prevalence of that substance. So in North America, the sheen would tell you that that's called Div 2, Division 2. In the zone sheen, that's called Zone 2 or Zone 22. And in the IEC sheen, it's called Category 3. It means the same thing, but that's the secret translation between the different parts of the world between North America and Europe with the IEC. So you have the gas and whether or not it's prevalent. That gives you these definitions. Class 1, Zone 2, same as Class 1, Div 2, same as CE, EX, equipment group with an equipment category. So the purpose of this slide is to show the global translation of what it means. The marking is the same across these definitions. It's very easy to put it all into perspective by considering our day-to-day gas pump. You drive in to get petroleum and you have a gas pump. When you're within a radius of 20 feet of that pump, you are in that region of space where the materials, the equipment, all has to be marked for hazardous location. So all of the meters and the radios and the other electrical devices that are on or around those pumps are marked for this application. So take that scale and look at it across the entire oil industry, and you would see that it's very, very wide application. It's important to our customers that the labeling be done correctly. So we have an example of a competitive product that's a transformer. It just has an incorrect labeling scheme. You see that they use the word 2 instead of the Arabic 2 instead of the correct nomenclature. So it's important to use the exact right nomenclature. Our products are very carefully labeled. This is our popular DRDC, and it's correctly showing the way the lettering and the proper spelling has to be presented. This will cause our customers a lot of trouble if there's mistakes. So we pay a lot of attention to this. It's important to have that labeling correct for the market and the application. Which leads us to the wide uses that the products can fall. SCADA, exploration, pumping, offshore, wellheads, pipeline compressor stations, metering stations, storage, refining, and motor control centers. These are all applications that have a high surge prevalence, and these are very valuable applications to the customer. So our devices protect that equipment and keep it running at its optimum revenue generating capacity. Basically, our protection portfolio has now been granted the proper HAZ location certification. It can be used in these locations, and this is where it goes. It goes into the telecommunications huts, where our I2R products, our ALPUs, and our data protection CPX products can all easily be employed in those telecommunications shelters that might be near the HAZ location environment. Wireless terminal and metering. These are very common applications in oil and gas, and our protection products fit exactly into those mechanical and electrical applications. You can see that our DRDCs, our I2Rs, ALPUs, DC Defenders, and CPX can all very easily be employed into these metering applications. So when we take a broad look at the applications, you can see the types of products that would protect their application. So this is what we protect, these meters, these gas flow devices. This is all critical to make sure that the billing will be executed for the customer. Our products protect that revenue. Our protection products go into the PLC cabinets, what are called the remote terminal units, where there's data collection. Our products go into the PLC cabinets that control the pumping stations. And that's a very high transient environment because of those pumps going on and off. That's creating a lot of surge transients continually. So our protection products keep that equipment running at its optimum revenue generating capacity. And finally, the backhaul, where all that data is gathered in these remote terminals. It's all ran back to master control centers, and our ALPU and CPX products are ideal for protecting those backhaul radios. The products break down into several families. The DRDC and the pipe data protection products have been on the market for several years. Very popular. They're very easy for our customers to use. They fit right into their PLC cabinets or right onto their metering. Very easy to apply, very effective. Newly certified products include our CPX family of products, several of our DC Defender DC protection products, our very popular ALPU protection products, and our very effective AC protection products. So this gives us the ability to hit all of these applications with our full portfolio of protection products. So everything that they're doing from 120 volt AC to high-speed gigabit Ethernet data can be protected by our products. The applications are very common, but you'll see things like these PLC control cabinets that the customer is using to monitor, control pumps, control flow, run compressors. These monitor stations have critical equipment. Our protection products fit directly in that DC power circuit. We can protect from plus to minus and also from some DC return relative to ground. Now there's a big question about whether or not to put this return to ground protection in a DC application. It really depends on this bond. Is it bonded close by? Are you directly at the PLC equipment bond where the battery is bonded to the ground terminal? If so, there's not a lot of voltage that can build up. But as you move away and get to the controls loads, that distance can cause some degree, some voltage to rise. And that's where we would recommend to put protection. So as you look at applications, you can clearly see the need for that return to ground protection. In this case, this would be considered 3-mode protection. This is a very common type of protector in our product line. Our DC Defender employs this 3-mode protection. Here you can see our DRDC product being used in a very similar 3-mode protection. Each circuit is protected in series with our device, providing additional voltage control and isolation between the surge environment and the protected load, along with a reference to ground. The DC Defender product installs in an identical manner. You'll see that it will handle higher levels of DC current for larger loads that might be in the application. You'll see an AC and DC protection. You'll see the very common plus to minus return protector. This would be the same as line to neutral, and it's a very common application for our AC and DC surge protection products. Power over Ethernet is extremely important in this oil and gas market because it enables the user, the customer, to have control systems that don't require any other connection than the PoE cable. It lets it be an isolated PoE-enabled device like a camera or a meter or a radio. Our ALPU and CPX products are ideal for protecting that PoE-enabled device relative back to its control cabinet, router, and modem sets. Camera devices are very common in this application. Security is very important. These are high-value assets. PoE-enabled cameras can very effectively be protected by our ALPU and CPX surge protectors. An important aspect of the AC and DC protection environment is the disconnect means that the customer employs. This slide is intended to provide a summary of those disconnect means. We employ fusing, breakers, and disconnect switches in our products to provide effective and long-term valuable surge protection. In this AC and DC environment, we're talking about fault conditions that may be present, and the fusing is intended to remove the surge protection devices from the fault condition for safety and proper operation. Surge protection technologies that we employ include gas tubes, silicon avalanche, metal oxide, and various series fuse and filter type devices. This slide is intended to show you a summary of that technology and to give a brief indication of what is generally considered best. So parallel protection is usually best for low maintenance or nuisance issues. Series protection allows less energy to pass from the source of the transient into the protected equipment. It does provide very effective surge protection for communication and power applications. We employ silicon avalanche and metal oxide varistor technology in our protectors. And it's important to understand the strengths and the weaknesses of that technology. Metal oxide varistors are made from zinc oxide particles compressed into a very amorphic crystal of a sort. And what happens during a surge event is that the transient voltage is burning through that crystal matrix. Over time, that destroys the metal oxide device and renders it useless. It is one of the key reasons that metal oxide devices are often rated into the very high Ka levels to provide an indication of the life withstand, not necessarily the one-time stroke that's going to hit the device, but the overall life expectancy. Silicon avalanche has a great advantage that it is a true Zener junction and does not wear out or burn out or change over time. We rate our devices for the suggested surge levels through the IEEE, IEC, and Belcor standards, and this gives us the ability to provide extremely low voltage control and longevity. What you see as a comparison technology is silicon avalanche will hold the same 500 volt strike lower in voltage than a metal oxide varistor if it saw the same 500 volt strike. More voltage gets past the metal oxide generally, and our product line is intended to provide those advantages for those applications where voltage control is so critical, like in DC powers applications. The DC power is operating at 48 volts. If your protector controls at the higher voltage levels, it's missing all the opportunity to help. It's missing the transient energy. Product specifications cover what's important to the customer. The VPL tells us how low the voltage will be controlled. This is valuable because low VPL maintains best equipment operation. Bandwidth is important. It needs to be transparent to allow optimum equipment operation. Surge current withstand. It needs to handle the surge environment. It needs to be easy to install to reduce installation costs and downtime. And it needs to have weather-tight construction in order to operate through the intended environment. DC products have similar sets of specifications. The VPL, of course, it needs to be low. The lower the better. DC power is very sensitive to higher voltage transients. The surge current withstand prevents nuisance failures. It promotes best equipment operation over the life. DC protection has to be easy to install. DIN rail mounted, outdoor rated for weather-tight construction. Single mode or 3-mode protection. We provide both types of protection products to allow the customer best operation and best application. The AC protection products need to have a maximum continuing operating voltage to indicate the voltage levels it can be applied on. The voltage protection level is important to the customer. Lower VPL is better to divert more current. Surge current rating needs to meet the suggested standards and allow for derating if you're using metal oxide varistor. The amp rating of the branch circuit. Higher rating branches act like larger pipes to allow more surge current. The fault rating of the branch circuit. The asymmetrical interrupt current rating. The protector needs to be matched for the branch circuit that it's applied to. And the SPD disconnection has to have a method for safe and effective disconnect of the protection device from the AC power. A quick look at our competitor snapshot shows that there are some strong competitors in parts of our market space. They have some products that are like some of our full portfolio. But what we see is our competitors do not have a full portfolio as we do with data, AC, and DC power protection products suited for the voltage and the communication data application. So although we have some strong competitors, we have technical and product line advantages that give us differentiation in this market space. The overall launch consists of our product training, our mission critical systems brochure, our insert sheet for that brochure, the product specifications showing the proper marking. Of course, we have our online protector selector in our web page that will show the hazard location marking, and our global certification press release announcement that is coming forth to our channel partners and customers alike. This